And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Outside waters forecast here for the south coast. Looking at gale warnings with that next system coming up. East-southeast 35 knots for the day on Friday, and east-southeast at 20 to 25 knots on the central coast, and east-southeast at 15 for the north coast. For Lynn Canal, southeast at 10 knots, pick it up to 20 knots for Stevens Passage. Gale warnings also for Clarence Strait. Southeast 35, and those seas up to 11 feet. Winds fall back over the inside waters to southerly for the direction at 10 to 15 knots with 2 to 4 foot seas. And out on the south coast here for the outside waters, west 15 to 20 knots and west-northwest 10 to 20 knots for the north coast. Prince William Sound and the eastern North Gulf Coast all looking at southeast winds at 20 knots tomorrow, seas at 4 to 6 feet. And for the Barren Islands, Kamishak Bay area right in here, light variable winds at 10 knots, but south at 20 there, south of Resurrection Bay. And for Cook Inlet, south to southwest winds 15 to 20 knots. And for the day Saturday, Cook Inlet, south winds 10 to 15 knots. East 30 knots for Kamishak Bay, south 25 for the Barren Islands, and south 15 for the western North Gulf Coast. For Prince William Sound and the eastern coast, look for variable winds at just 10 knots. Kodiak Island tomorrow, west winds 20 knots, seas 5 feet. Alaska Peninsula, west-southwest winds 15 to 20 knots, seas mostly 2 to 5 feet, with west at 15 for Bristol Bay. And then for Kodiak Island, mostly south winds at 30 knots, 6 to 8 foot seas. Gale warnings here for the Alaska Peninsula and Bristol Bay. Southeast winds 35 knots, seas 12 to 15 feet here on the Pacific side of the peninsula. And for the eastern Aleutians, southwest winds 20 to 25 knots for the day Friday. And for the area from Amchitka to Atka, winds will be southwest at 15 to 20 knots. Kiska to Shemya, west 20 to 25 knots. And for Saturday, for the western Aleutians, Kiska to Shemya, west-northwest winds at 25 to as high as 30 knots, actually, all the way to Atka, northwest 25 there to Nikolsky. And then south to southeast winds for Unalaska Island at 30 to 35 knots. And for the St. Lawrence Island area tomorrow, small craft advisory, south 25 also for the Yukon Delta coast. St. Matthew Island, south winds 30 knots, southwest at 25 for the Pribilofs, and that blows right into Kuskokwim Bay out of the southwest at 25 knots. Looking at 4 foot seas there, and for Norton Sound south at 20. Norton Sound on Saturday, southeast 25 knots, seas 5 feet. St. Lawrence Island, southeast at 30 with 6 foot seas. Same thing for the Yukon Delta coast, winds east at 30 knots, St. Matthew Island. And a good gale here for the Kuskokwim Delta coast for southeast winds 40 knots and southeast at 30 for the Pribilof Islands. And for the eastern Beaufort Sea coast tomorrow, some gale warnings. Just clipping the east side there, Kaktovik demarcation point, west at 35 knots. Brisk wind advisories for the eastern Arctic coast at 25 knots, northwest 15 for the central coast. And then the western Arctic coast, northeast, pretty light by comparison to the east side at 15 knots, and south to southeast 10 to 15 knots for the Chukchi Sea. And for Saturday, Chukchi Sea, east at 10 to 20 knots, and western Arctic coast there, mostly west winds at 15 knots, west at 25, so brisk wind advisories for the central and east central Arctic coast. And then good gales continue. Now west at 40 in the forecast for far eastern Beaufort Sea.